Josh, let's see how this goes, this video. The human self will never become enlightened. I'd like to know how many people really believe that, though. You know, do you actually think, do you have a concept in your head, in your mind? This is important. Like, do introspection and see. Do you have, people, see, this is how tricky the mind is. We'll have some abstract idea or concept about something, but we never check it out. This is how the mind lives. If we don't do deep introspection and check out, first be aware that there's a concept. Some people have a bunch of concepts, they don't even know they have concepts. So first stage, be aware, do introspection and see, do I have any concepts about anything? Oh, I have a concept about enlightenment. Okay, you have a concept. Write down, get clear. The mind's going to fight this. It's going to stay vague and abstract and all this stuff, you know, because that's how it preserves itself. It hides in the dark crannies of our subconscious. But when you start making your subconscious conscious, it can't hide. So, okay, I have a concept about enlightenment, right? Awakening. Okay, cool. What's the concept? Write it down. When you put stuff on paper, it can't hide. You say you wrote it. Can't escape. The mind can't erase it. But when we just have self-dialogue, like, yeah, this concept is this, and you'll forget 5 minutes later, or it'll change. The mind will come in and modify it to perpetuate its existence. You see the game that we're in? The mind's cool. Like, it's not... The more identity we have with it, the more cruel we think it is. But when we see the game of it, we realize, whoa, if we didn't have the mind, this game just wouldn't work. It would just be boring. So you realize you have a concept, you write what the concept is. So this is my concept of awakening or enlightenment. I think that when I'm enlightened, write down your criteria. I'm gonna be in ecstasy. I had a guy I was talking to. What did he say? He had a near-death experience at some point in his life. He's like 80 now, but he had one earlier. His mind was using this as a ace up the sleeve for years, you know, and it kept telling him, because when he had the near-death experience, he was out of his body, a lot of peace. It's like I say, it's like the death of the body is like taking off a tight glove. It's like, or a tight virtual reality suit, you know, and you're like, man, I'm not claustrophobic anymore. Cool. So he was feeling that. And he was floating around, going wherever he was going. And then a deep sense of peace, you know. Then he came back into the body, and his mind used that as the definition of enlightenment. And he never experienced that again. It was like decades went by, and he's like, when am I going to experience? Like, I'm not awake yet, because I need to experience what that is. I need to experience what I experienced before again, because that's awakened. That's enlightenment. This is what his mind did, and he didn't know that. We caught that out when we were talking. That's an example. I'm saying to you, write down what your because everybody has their own concept about awakening, you know? So you write down what your concept is. I had some concepts around that, like, if I'm awake, I'm going to feel like this equal high-intensity love for everybody. Doesn't matter. Girlfriend, mother, friends, strangers. The intensity of this adoration for them is going to be the same. You know where that came from? It came from my spiritual experience that I've shared in a couple other videos when I was 12, when it was just a spontaneous experience. And I did love everybody pretty much the same. It didn't go on it only went on for, you can say, several hours until I begged God to take it out and called the preacher, woke him up at 2 a.m. I'm like, bro, help me here, man. He's like, aren't you being helped? I'm like, this isn't the help I want. I was foolish. I got rid of that which everyone's looking for. Anyway, it's all good. So I had this idea in my mind that That's what I need to feel to be awake. That's one idea. I had others. And later I realized through wisdom, through grace, through evolution, we're going to realize everything. Well, there's no end to everything, but we can't miss. This is the good news. You just keep waking up in the morning and doing what you do, and this evolution happens by itself, and you're going to realize all this stuff. This is also part of the game. Somebody's making videos and answering questions and seemingly helping people, and then the people enjoy helping, and I enjoy giving the help. That's also part of the game. You don't dismiss it. Don't non-dual it away. Enjoy. This is why we're here. We're here to enjoy. It would be the mind coming back in and saying, oh, but this is not real, though. No. So evolution's going to happen. So I realized that, I realized at some point that that's not, that was a mind-created idea. That there's times when I do feel that intensity of love for everybody. That doesn't stay. Law of impermanence. There's no state that remains, not while we're in this human form. Then there's other days where the love is more, you can say, discriminative. I feel maybe more for my mom. I feel more for my close friend. For a stranger, not so much. Or romantic love, yeah. But see, that will pass too. That can also, especially the romantic loves, that can turn into, do a total 180 for those I think you know. Or if your mom or your friend does something, they can hurt you more than the average person, because we have these unconscious expectations, because it's like, but this is my family, they shouldn't do this. This is my romantic partner, they shouldn't do this. Is my friend, like, why are you doing me like that? So we're a little more sensitive to that. That's part of the human thing. So we might feel a little more, get emotionally affected by that than if a stranger, did something negative, so to speak. Somehow we forgive them. It's like, you don't mean, you're not in my life, so okay, whatever. This is all part of the human mechanism. So you don't escape from that. The benefit, the main point I want you to take out of this video is that you should write down what your concepts are about it, and then challenge them and see. Ask your deeper inner wisdom, like, is this actually truth? Is this really real? Or are these just concepts that my mind's holding on to preserve the longevity of its nonsense? We got to do this introspection and see. And if you do that and ask grace to help you see things clear, if you're ready to see things clear, then you'll see things clear. At the same time, be patient if you don't automatically see things clear. Maybe you'll write it down and be like, damn, I still don't see things clear. Accept that. Accept it. You're on your way. Allow grace to give. That can be a challenge, something you need to accept. Like the mind says, I want to see things clear. But maybe you're not totally seeing things clear. Accept that. The consciousness isn't interested in seeing things clear. This seeing things clear is still part of the game. Everything's part of the game. Like, the human self is never going to be pristine, 100%. It can't happen. You would dematerialize. There's always going to be some Rajas and Tamas in there somewhere. If it was just 100% Sattvic, well, there's nothing there. There's just flat line. It's got to be a little something, a little ripple. Don't take it personal, though. The consciousness or the awareness that's watching that, it's beyond Sattvic. It's beyond this. It's just, what can you say about it? This is who we are. This is what we are, and all we ever were, and all we're ever going to be. The realization of that will continuously get deeper and deeper and deeper while we're in this human form. But the human form will never realize this 100%. Then there would be total fusion, and you wouldn't exist anymore. So you understand? It's the human self has to keep some imperfections. At the same time, we don't justify and rationalize, and if we our mom says something to us and we snap back, and you can see it hurt her a little emotionally, or your friend, if you did that, or your romantic partner, we don't just say, oh, well, human self is imperfect, sorry. We make amends. That's part of the game also. We make mistakes, you make amends. And we continue our sadhana and spiritual practice of this inevitable fusion of the human matrix, the human virtual software. We continuously be open and cooperate with the fusion of that with our consciousness, meaning the consciousness starts to shine through this more and more and more. But remember, it can always do more. That takes a load off, don't it? Like, does something relax when you realize that? Maybe there's some people that don't believe it. Let me know what you think. So like, who am I talking to? Somebody asked me that in a comment once, but he was trying to, it wasn't a, he was a non-dual person. Somehow he found my channel. Like, who are you talking to, man? But I had backup. One of my audience members said, well, who are you talking to? I'm like, right on. All right, see you.